Let's make some noise, Vilnius! Let's make some noise! Yes, you can do this! Yay! Because you made a great choice. Actually, you had to make a hard decision between tracks, and you made the right choice. So thank you for being here. So who is in the audience? Who is like a IT professional? Raise your hand. Amazing. So we are on the same wavelengths. Amazing. So I will tell only the truth. No bullshit. No agile. No these things. Right? No. I'm Edwards. I'm from Latvia, and I'm going to talk about career development. And I strongly believe that the best way to deliver some idea to you is to tell you a story. So, and this is going to be Johnny's story. A story about the guy and his road towards a remarkable career. So, let's move on. Meet Johnny. So, Johnny is a software developer, as most of us here. And he works at a company called, let's say, Telehardas, and he has 5 years of software development experience under his belt. He works full-time, he has decent salary, right? And he prays software craftsmanship gods. So he strongly believes that the software should be delivered the right way. It's about passion, it's about clean code, it's about delivering the value, it's about all these nice things that we are constantly hearing at the conference, right? Some engineering rigor should be there. And Johnny has a boss, Milton. So Milton is a project manager at Telehardas, and he's a senior guy. He reports directly to top management. And he haven't ever wrote a single line of code. So he doesn't give a shit about software craftsmanship, right? So, well, he's about this, let's get things done fast, right? Guy. Sounds familiar. And Johnny actually hates Milton a lot. Because every year, Johnny meets Milton and begs him for a salary rise. So nervously, Johnny mentions all the skills that he possesses, like I'm doing test-driven development, I'm doing extreme programming, I'm speaking on the meetups, and I'm a very cool guy. So and these guys in my team, they are not doing that. So I'm the best. So I really deserve some money, some salary rise. And he's kind of doing a great job pitching his skills. But every year, Johnny gets the same answer. Milton goes, yeah, Johnny, great job. You're a good boy. Everything's okay with you, fine. There's one problem. We don't have a budget this year. Sounds familiar? We don't have a budget this year. So I propose, so we can give you a corporate insurance or corporate mobile phone, right? Instead of money. Sure, I could buy a mobile phone if you just give me the money, right? So, and feeling sad and undervalued, Johnny goes to his mentor, Lawrence. So Lawrence is a retired Kotlin software architect. So we are in future now, right? So we're talking about future. He's already retired and doing Kotlin things, right? And Johnny says, Lawrence, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave the company because there's a huge demand on the market. So there are companies that can really pay me much more, and they will value me, right? And these guys at Telehardas, they don't give a shit about my craftsmanship and all this stuff. So I will probably leave. And Lawrence goes, okay, but what did you tell your boss? What did you tell Milton to get the salary rise? Well, like usually, I say that I know TDD, BDD, DDD, how to write govna code on a daily basis. I know plenty of cool frameworks like Spock, Spark, and as well as machine learning and unikernels. What the hell are we talking about now? What the hell are we talking about? So man, just calm down, relax, man. But do you use these things to bring the value to your customers? And Johnny goes, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he went, well, because from the management and from the customer's perspective, all these nice skills you have, all these nice frameworks that you have, they are waste unless you can monetize them somehow, unless you can really bring the value or like bring the money or save the money. It's kind of waste from the company perspective. So why don't you use this? Because Milton doesn't let me, Johnny says. Okay, fine. So Milton doesn't let you use these nice things that you know. So what Milton suggests you to use instead? He says, I have to stick to DDD. Domain-driven design, you mean? No, it's something different. This approach is very popular in our company. It's called Давай, deploy. It's called just deploy this shit already, right? Just stop this craftsmanship shit. Just deploy, right? We're waiting for the release. It's upcoming, right? We have to deliver, right? DDD. What the heck are you talking about, Johnny? What the hell are you talking about? So, you know, Johnny, you don't understand something. And because the good thing about all these engineering practices that you know, they are personal. The whole idea is that you don't need to convince anybody but you. Because it's like, if that's something that can make your customers more happy, bring more money to the table, save money, reduce expenses, you should actually do this without even asking for permission. And here's the example. For some reason, you are visiting a surgeon. A surgeon? That's a cliche example. So surgeon, you are visiting him and you say, hey surgeon, yeah, I need a surgeon. I have my leg is broken, whatever. You have to cut me with this, and you have to use this, and you have to use that, right? It's kind of nonsense, right? You are not doing that. You are visiting the surgeon, and you keep fingers crossed that he knows his job, right? what to do, right? So why? Why you can't tell surgeon what to do? Because even if you are a manager of surgeons, you still can't tell surgeon how to do his job. If you work in the healthcare industry, you still can't tell surgeon how to do his job. Why? Why? People, why? Because you're not fucking surgeon. That's obvious, right? You're not surgeon, right? And the thing is that to avoid injury, don't tell me how to do my job. Because that's my job. I'm paid because I know how to do my job right? I know how to delight my customer. So the point is that do whatever you know and think is right to delight your customer, because you don't need anyone's permission to be professional. That's the whole point. You don't need to ask anybody's permission. You shouldn't really care. Because people pay you for the things that you know, and that's it. So, and I wanted to tell a short story. I once been involved in a consulting project in the UK. It was like 2 years ago already. And it was a nasty project, everything was on fire. So the company called me, Eddie, maybe you can help a bit. And I said, okay, it's a UK, decent money, probably I will give it a try. And that was my mistake, actually. So I'm entering the building, and everything is nice, HR people are clever, the company is great, yellow, green chairs, everything like a Google style. And I look at there's a separate room, and there's a sticker, the war room. The war room. So what the fuck is there? And I see developers fighting, firefighting somewhere, and hey, where's my team? And the people who have hired me, it's exactly there, the war room. So, and I say, okay, I will probably join them and help them to get things done. Maybe I have to understand what the problem is. So, no, don't go there. Just give them directions. Tell them what to do and how to do things right, and don't even go there. I say, what the heck are you talking about? So I say, oh, sorry guys, I really want to join and see what's happening. So I entered the room, and the temperature difference was actually quite decent. So it's a +5 degrees there, because there's so much emotional and process inside. People were burning, firefighting to deliver things. And I was I sat next to people, starting talking to them, and I was actually starting doing a pairing with the people, writing tests, and we actually slowed down. So people were firefighting, and things were, went a bit slower when I joined, obviously, because I really want to understand how things are going and how can we really deliver something, because every change resulted in a rollback and everything. So people running, but they were returning to the back again, right, all the time. So we've been working in this a clever way for a week or something, and there was an engineering manager, full-time, and he was on vacation while I was there. So imagine the situation, engineering manager coming he seemed I'm slowing things down. He opens the door almost like this, He's entering the room and he says, Edward, you have to stop doing this right now, like this. And I was like, sorry? He's like, you have to stop doing this right now because you're wasting our time. That's what I have heard. It's like, it's a straight to the face. You're just wasting our time. And I was like, whoa, 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 you gotta keep the horses, slow down, man. And I was like, okay. I stood up and say, okay, what do you suggest me to do instead? And he was like, stop doing this. Okay, fine, I will stop doing this, but what do you really suggest to do instead? What are your suggestions? How should I change my behavior? He was like, let's have a personal conversation. So we closed the door, we left, we went to the kitchen, and I told him, so just in front of my team, you told me that I don't know how to do my job. So please clarify, what are the best practices? How should I really behave? And he was like, I don't know. I said, okay, let's do it this way. So you believe that we have to really cut corners and get things done, shit done fast, right? And I believe that we have to slow down really. Let's run an experiment. So we will go to Trello and we will pick some item for development, and we will develop this random item in front of the team, and let the team judge. And the team was like, wow, the fight. Contractor versus engineering manager. He was like, yeah, that will be the show, right? Something will happen, like the blood, right? And he was actually the developer, and he was a good developer. He used to be a good developer, but then he got caught by the schedules, right? Deadlines. So we actually, it was Friday, people are ready for the fight, and we were sitting we picked the item from a Trello, and we start writing code. And I was moving slowly in the baby steps, writing tests, refactoring, and I was actually quite ready to be defeated. I was ready for defeat. I expected to be defeated by this guy because he could probably deliver faster than I could, because I didn't have a clue about the code base, whatever. I was new to the team. But I was writing, okay, breathe, think what you will say to people when you'll fail. okay, breathe, but be mindful, write the code. And I was writing, and then done. I pushed the code, it's ready. So people are looking, fine. So I'm looking at his screen, and he was he turned to me in anger, and I'm looking at his screen, and he was everything is red, nothing even compiles. He was doing a shotgun refactoring everywhere, no test, whatever, try to change things, nothing is there. And I told let's say Alex, well, all green, so problem solved. I say, let's do it this way. Next time when you really want to stop someone from doing something, you should really have an argument, right? You should be really able to convince the people to do something different, or why should I stop, right? No argument, so fail, right? So the whole idea is that there's a lot of dogma in our industry, in our job, a lot of dogma, opinions, whatever. So you should be very comfortable in waking up and saying, okay, fine, you have a great idea, show me. Show me how to do it differently. Show me how to do it better. And at this point, the conversation usually stops. So that's the point, right? So you should be ready to challenge people, because there are so many opinions, and be ready to be challenged back. Right? Very simple. So, okay. What if we are talking about something that is product related? What if you have an idea, let's say, that should be implemented in the project, but it goes against your, let's say, product owner's beliefs or your manager's beliefs? What should you do? That's a good idea, do it. So, but the idea is that your job is not to delight your boss. Your job is not to delight your managers. Your job is to delight your customers. So if we think about it, so how money works in the company, like a regular software company, there's you, there's your direct manager, and he has some limited budget, right, to pay you money from. So there's a top management, and top management owns bigger money, and there are customers that pay you for the software, for the value, and money rolls down the hill, right, from the up. And the question is, who is stronger than Milton? Who is stronger than Milton? Quickly, who is stronger than Milton? Top management. Who is stronger than top management? Money. Money is, that's a good point. Money, yeah. The customer, because there is the money. You have to follow the money, right? The money is there. So it's not that Milton pays you money, not top management, but the customer. So whatever customer says is right, even if it's not, right? It's right. So what if you think different? What if instead of pumping money from the Milton, from your management, you change your mindset and start thinking how to add money from the outside? Because you'll get much more, much more. So instead of pumping from the inside, think about how to add from the outside, right? This is very important. So the idea is that if you don't really understand how your company makes money, because for many developers I meet, it looks like a cloud. It's like Amazon or Azure is there, right? And kind of money is like falling into your pocket directly. It doesn't really work this way because someone is paying for what you do, right? But how they get money, you have to understand how your company is making money, because if you don't understand that, first of all, you have no idea how to add money from the outside, right? So enjoy your salary, right? So if you don't understand it, every day it costs you money. Every day. Right? Every day you have to really understand how your company is making money. If you're a developer, whoever you are, you should really be good at it. So add money from the outside. Stop pumping money from your management. Let customer judge what's important, what's not. Because sometimes even your management does not really support you. Like you have an idea. Everyone were in this situation, right? You have an idea, it feels great. No, it's not in the backlog. Sorry, it's not part of the plan, right? It's not part of the vision. So what I would do, what I expect my people to do actually when I work in the team, I'd say, make your reasoning public. So go to the customer and say, hey, customer, what do you think if we... Did you do something bad? No. Or you can say, hey, our rivals are doing things this way. What if we... Nothing bad. Or there's the better idea. Hey, customers, look what I have built. So instead of waiting for someone to come up with a brilliant idea that you like, take your laptop, make a fork of your code base, build something, and show it to your customers directly, right? It works extremely well, because maybe you could win, and you could get the opportunity to work on something extremely cool in 1-2 years. It will take maybe a week of your work, maybe 2. It is a time investment. It's not free, right? You have to get your time and invest it, but maybe you will get the project to work on for a year or 2 or 3. I had a lot of examples like this. People were crying, oh my God, I don't like this project. Just do something about it. Make a fork, show it to the customers, maybe they will like it, but they have money. They have money, and I've been there. I saw that. So, have you heard about the opportunity cost? Opportunity cost. Anyone? Raise your hand. Opportunity cost. Okay, there is notion of opportunity cost. There is some kind of invisible money that your company is paying for not having something that it could have. So it's like if you're keeping your ideas in your head, you are actually costing money to your company. Because the company could have something, but you keep it in your head. It's called the opportunity cost. So if you keep things in your head, you're costing your company money, actually, which is not a good thing. So obviously, if you go to the central marketplace, you go to your customers directly, avoiding everyone, you have to speak customers' language, obviously. If you try to sell them test-driven development, you're screwed, right? So it's kind of, you have to say, okay, we want high-quality software, and high-quality software means increased lifespan of the software, and it will contribute to returns of investment. So yeah, you have to really change your language, and this is where many developers fail, but you can do this, right? It's not that customers should speak our language, but we should speak customer language. That's important. So, and it should be clear how to start, for example. You have to offer something like a baby steps. So we have to start with this, we have to start with that, and all these things. So thirdly, you don't be a jerk. I mean, I'm telling you now to avoid all the intermediaries and going to the customers directly, which can mean that, okay, you can go to your customer and say, but the boss doesn't let me do this, but I know how to do this right. And this is how jerk behaves, right? So a team don't write tests, but I do. All right, so you can be the jerk, and it's a whole suicide for your team. It's a suicide for your team, because I have seen projects failing because of that. Because customer, if he hears that, he says, okay, there's something rotten in the team, there is no trust. I don't want to build on a rotten foundation, obviously. So, because once you point a finger to someone's direction, how many fingers are staring back at you? Always 3, right? You point a finger and 3 are staring back at you. You have to remember that. Be careful. So, Johnny followed the advice. Johnny followed the advice, and he started selling directly on the central marketplace. He also continued doing TDD, even though other people were not doing that, whatever. Because, well, he believed that it was right. So then there was a meeting, and QA manager was invited for a talk with the top management, and QA manager was pricing Johnny. We're failing all the time. Teams get something to production, but then we have rollback. But Johnny is doing great job. But Johnny is doing great job, because when Johnny says done, it's actually done. And he can actually do a quick adjustments in the code without breaking things, so he's kind of doing better job than the others. Customers are also seeing the results, and they want Johnny to work on a new 1 billion unicorn project as well, because he's reliable. He's actually delivering, and it works, finally. So Johnny rocks. At the same time, there's a meeting with top management and Johnny's boss, and they go, Milton, is Johnny happy? Milton, is Johnny happy? So now top management complains, is Johnny happy? Because by dealing directly with the customers, Johnny has become VIP, exception to the rules, because he has a good relationship with the customers. And companies and top management are smart people, because companies don't want to lose someone who is either bringing money to the table, one, who will bring money potentially to the table, or has good relationships with the customers. Make sense? So you're kind of getting some protection, and it's called CBI, corporate bullshit immunity. So you're getting corporate bullshit immunity. You're kind of protecting yourself against bullshit. And this is very important to understand, because the more you bring to the table, the higher is your CBI. The more you pump from your management, the lower is your CBI. Think about your salary, your income. So what do you really bring to the table, right? So top management forced Milton to rethink the situation. And Milton invites Johnny for a conversation. Johnny, I will give you 50% salary rise. Sorry, Milton, but you just say that there's no budget. Oh, leave the budget for the rest of the team. That's my problem. I will handle this. It's not for you now. Here's your money. And Johnny goes, not this time. Because I want you to buy new MacBook Pro to everyone. And together with the team, Johnny smashes old workstations with a baseball bats. Mission completed? Success? What do you think? No! Obviously no! We have to continue. So, Johnny is successful a bit. So, he meets his girlfriend, Katie. So, Katie is a QA engineer at Telehardas as well. And he goes, okay, Katie, my darling, I will ask Milton to make me a senior full-stack Kotlin developer. Full stack. It's so romantic. You can definitely do this. Give it a try. So Johnny goes to Milton. I want to become senior full stack Kotlin developer. And Milton goes, oh, Johnny, you're good. You're doing a great job. You're a good boy. Yeah. There's something wrong with you. He says, what the heck? I'm the best developer. Well, the problem is that you have a bad annual performance review results. In fact, your results are the worst among your team members. What? This is real. How it's possible? I'm best developer, the smart ass of the team, and I'm getting the worst results. So, how can it be possible? The best performer with the worst results. So, Johnny drives to his girlfriend. Katie says, I knew that you will never be a full-stack senior Kotlin engineer, so take your belongings and leave. I knew that. So, Johnny goes to Lawrence again. Yeah. I know, Johnny, but you have to understand something. Success is a bitch. Because success has a side effect. The more successful you become, the more visible you become, the more people will think that you are a jerk or mushroom. Right? Because people are jealous by nature. So the question is, can we really turn people's egocentric nature to work for us? So the question is, can we really make others interested in supporting us somehow? Can we really do this? So the question is, were there any reason why others should kind of vote for Johnny? Like want Johnny to be successful. Did Johnny do anything throughout the story? Anything. MacBooks. Good point. Exactly. So I'm successful. Yeah, I'm getting my stake, and here you go. The more successful I become, the more you get, right? It's kind of everyone is getting more, which means that we are interested in investing in someone. So we want someone to be promoted, right? So yes, there were MacBooks, but that's usually not enough. So the point is very simple. You succeed faster by helping people around succeed. And this is very important because we constantly focus on ourselves. We have our own agenda. So we run and screaming how cool we are. Like we are the best, we're senior, whatever. And this is a problem because we have to do it differently. Instead of focusing on ourselves, you focus on others. And because you do this, others are focusing on you. The more you invest into others, the more others want you to be successful. So that's the whole idea. How Google PageRank works. Who knows what is PageRank? Google PageRank. Google PageRank. Anyone? Google PageRank. Okay, so if you want to appear on a top, like in a Google somewhere on the top, so what do you need to do? You have a blog, for example. You want to be first in the results. So what do you need to do? You need back references. You need back references, right? A lot of them. So back references, obviously. So it means that the more like websites refer to you, the higher is your page rank. And the idea is very interesting. As these websites that refer to you grow in their authority, your page rank grows together with them. So imagine people, these were juniors, they were saying something good about you, but then they are becoming seniors, company owners, CTOs, and they are still spreading the word about you, how cool you are, because you have helped them. So this is how the page rank works. But if you have the best blog on the planet, the best content, and no one refers to you, what is your page rank? Nada, zero, right? So it doesn't, it kind of matters, yes, but what matters most is what others are saying about you, not how cool you are, how you believe how cool you are, right? You need to build the references. So this is how the page rank works and the career development. So you invest into others and others are investing into you. So the point is that you have to help your peers achieve their career aspirations. The question is, if you look, so you work in the team, right? Most of you work in the teams. So imagine you're coming back to work, whatever, on Friday, for example, it doesn't really matter. So you're coming back to work and you look around at the people that sit next to you. Do you know what are these people's goals? Do you know what they want to achieve? Do you know why what they're struggling with? Whom they want to become? Have you ever thought about it? About your peers, not about yourself, but about your peers. Who knows about each team member, what they want to achieve? What is their goal, the secret goal? Raise your hand, anyone? One. Wow! Okay, if you don't know, how do you know how to help? How to invest, and where to invest into the people, which is weird. Do you know what your manager wants to achieve? Money, right? $1 million and the house on the beach. Okay, that's true, but if we are specific, so we are constantly blaming our management. Okay, they don't do this, they don't do that, but do you really know why they are not doing that or are doing that? Do you know how to help them? I was managing very big IT organizations a few years ago, and the only thing I really wanted, I wanted someone from the team come to me, Eddie, and ask me, Eddie, what are your struggles? How can I help you? If someone would do this, but no one is coming, and that's a problem. Maybe it was my problem, because no one wanted to talk with me, right? So do you know what are your career aspirations, obviously, right? You have to know about this. Where are you going? Because otherwise you're just floating in the ocean, right? But what's important, you have to look around your peers and see how you can help them. And there are many people in your teams, because they are like a strong-minded, opinionated seniors, and there are juniors, right? As usually. The mix of different people. So whom you want to invest into? Think about it. Above, that's a good point. Yes, if you had unlimited time, yes, but your time is limited, right? We will die at some point. So you need to invest in juniors. You have to mentor juniors. You know why? Because they are raw material. Raw material. You can shape whatever you want from these junior people, right? So there's no resistance, so right? And the fact is that in IT world, everyone grows so fast. So you think, oh, these juniors, what can I get from them? Nothing at this point. But one day, they will become seniors, they will become CTOs, they will become customers to you. So it's kind of, it pays dividends a lot. I realized that it was my best life investment to mentor people who are around. Instead of focusing on my things, my own backlog, my agenda, I was helping people around. And they are now my customers. And say, Eddie, we want you to work with us, with our company, because you're making people around better. That's it. Right? But I could just grab my salary and run away, right? No. Yes, it's a short-term investment. The long-term investment is actually mentoring your peers, who are usually juniors. So, another point is when you succeed, it's team success. When you fail, it's your failure. The idea is very simple. When you succeed in something, you have to share your success with others. It's like, yeah, I did that, fine. No! Alex did that. Andrew did that. The whole team did that. Don't focus on yourself, because everyone knows anyway that you did that. Everyone knows, or will know in a week. But you get a double credit by saying that it is someone else's achievement. So get your double credit, right? But if you fail, you can't say, oh, it's a team's failure, it's a collective failure, screw it. What leader does, he stands up and say, oh, I have failed. That was the best failure I ever had. So, and my next failure will be different, because I learned from my failures. All my failures will be unique. That's it, right? I'm taking responsibility for that, and this is how leaders behave. So, Johnny was invited for a conversation with the top management. Johnny, you're actually doing a great job because your team is becoming better. Your team works as a whole, so we see the team growing. We want you to make more teams like this, like yours. Now you're Chief Software Architect. Chief Software Architect, really? I always knew that you can do this. Almost there, but we are not there yet. So, Johnny worked for 2 years as a chief software architect. He didn't code for 2 years. He was involved in the pre-sales, negotiations, job interviews, project management, priorities, dealing with multiple stakeholders, and he completely forgot who he is and what is his craft. And one day, he needed to go to the on-site customer interview to acquire new customer to the company, and he has failed drastically because developer of that company just kicked his butt. He asked Johnny very simple questions. How would you run this microservices? How would you create this application? What technologies would you use? And Johnny was going, yeah, I will use WebLogic, WebSphere, EGB 2.1, Oracle BPM, and other bullshit. Right? And he couldn't really answer basic questions. So the idea is that it doesn't really matter, my friends, how senior in the company you are, because it's a local measure. Johnny was a CTO or architect, whatever, but he couldn't compete with someone in a different company. You have to remember one important thing, because the idea of promotion was the company is designed to keep you in the loop, so you don't leave the company, right? Make sense? Right? This is why these titles among the companies diverge. So you can be CTO in your company, but in the other company you're becoming junior Java developer, right? Happens sometimes, right? Happens sometimes. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. So the idea is that the companies will promote you and will pay you slightly more every year to keep you in the loop, so you don't leave the company. And they want you to use technologies and things that matter to them, not for you, but to them. And the shittier technologies are, the more they pay. I've been to London, I know what I'm talking about. You sit in the tower, 25th floor in the bank, and you're doing WebLogic there, right? And you get a huge paycheck. Why? Because they don't want you to leave. So they pay you more. Just stay with us. And this is very important to be conscious about it, because you should never let any company drive your career, because they pay you for things that matter to them, not for you. Because one day you can wake up early morning and there will be many jobs that you would really like to get into. and it's impossible for you because you're bored. You're kind of out of fashion, right? And it's very important. I met people like this. I sometimes interview very senior people like CTOs, and I sometimes have to call them CTOs, right? Because it's like they don't get a thing about software development. They are in their bubble, in enterprise, some context, they're completely out of IT and things that are happening in the, I'll say, in the modern world. And there's no way back. There's no way back. They're there, and now try to get back to some cool company. Good luck with that. So we have to be very careful with that. How to prevent this from happening? You have to validate your seniority against the rest of the industry. So it doesn't matter how senior you are in the company because it's a local measure, right? You compare yourself only with your teammates, your peers. So you have to escape your box. You have to somehow check how cool you are on a global market, maybe on Lithuanian market, maybe on global market, which is even better. So what I do, I personally attend job interviews. I don't need a job, but I attend job interviews on a regular basis. Google, Microsoft, ThoughtWorks, many top companies, and I just do it because I want to understand how good I am, where I am. So if I'm finding myself in a situation where when I can't get a job offer, that's it. I'm happy. I feel that I'm demanded, right? If I can't get a job offer, I have to think what's happening actually. Why I'm not really demanded. And I have an idea for you. What I'm doing, go to your LinkedIn profile, switch location to London. Buy a virtual mobile number, the UK one, and people will start calling you, recruiters. If they don't call you, ask yourself a question, why you're not demanded? So you should really receive 5 phone calls when you are in the toilet, right? You should really come back, 5 phone calls missing, right? If you're not having this, you are not really demanded on the market, and this is the question. If they call you, you pick the you pick the phone. They say, "Hey, yeah, I'm Londoner, native speaker, right? Obviously, I'm Londoner. Here I am in next to the Canary Wharf. Yeah, sitting now, looking at London. So yeah, I will attend the job interview, but remotely, right? I'm doing this many times a year, so no one has caught me yet. Because they are not watching Agile tour videos. So yeah, you do this. So don't, Lithuania and Vilnius is your production. Don't screw up here. It's your production, right? But the global market is huge. London is huge. Every day, hundreds of companies appear and disappear. No one will even remember that you were there. So use these companies to see how good you are. That's amazing. So you can live with the feeling that you're actually great on the global market, you're demanded, so you're all set. So yeah, attend job interviews and escape the box you're in. And I normally do this abroad, actually. So, what is seniority then? What means senior person, senior developer? Yeah, you are all, that's a good point. Look, nice catch. So, I would say that the only measure of seniority is actually your freedom. It's a freedom. Freedom to decide what to do, where to do, when, for what money, and whether to do something at all. Because everything else is kind of secondary. So I strongly believe that you have to stop complaining about people in your company having more senior titles than you do, even they don't deserve it, right? It's, oh my God, you're senior, I'm not. It doesn't really matter because only freedom is what matters. Because freedom allows you to pick whatever title you want. You have to aim for that. You have to be free to choose, to decide what to do. So, I'm not sure where John is now. I haven't met him for a while. But I strongly believe that after the lessons he learned, he's probably in a good shape. Thank you. Do you have any questions? I think that we have some time for questions. So I try to speak. Amazing. Any questions? No questions, I don't believe it. So there should be some. Ask me some tough question from your life. From your life. Nothing? Seriously? I can tell you a story then. Okay, go ahead.
So you do that trick interviews, right? So maybe you use Stack Overflow careers for remote jobs. Just curious more about how you arrange that stuff.
So I don't use like a Stack Overflow career. So what I do, I usually follow LinkedIn, like a job opportunities, for example, and I challenge myself every time. So, for example, it's at some point it will become quite easy to get like any job on the software development market because you know some tricks, and then you have to like reach for the next level. Let's say like 1.5 years ago, I applied for some kind of very senior position in Atlassian in Sydney. It was a Gyrus, something like a VP of engineering. So it was funny because I hate Gyrus, but I didn't tell them, obviously. Yeah, it's an amazing product. And oh, you're making Gyrus. Yeah, it's so good. Every developers really loved using Gyrus, especially configuring these workflows, right? This is amazing. So I was applying there, so it's kind of I cherry pick the jobs that I really want to take, and because it depends on the challenge. So you apply for development positions if you really want to understand how good you are at writing code, maybe, like or you apply for managerial positions when you really want to understand what are your weaknesses in terms of soft skills and people skills. But there are some tricks I can share with you. For example, when I apply for a job, I do my homework. I mean, I really learn about the person in advance. So we can build a common ground for the conversation. It's a very useful trick because if you think about it, when you apply for a job, you send your CV, right? Usually CV, LinkedIn profile, here I am, how cool I am, right? Makes sense? You do this. Like send me your details, right? They ask. And then you're coming for a job interview and the people who are interviewing you are prepared. They know who you are. They know what to ask. They know about your weaknesses, about your strengths, about the background, so they're usually prepared. And it's kind of not really the fair game. It's not fair. It's not fair because there's a huge advantage, right? If you think about this. So what I do, I usually ask like, who will be the person who is interviewing me? Who will be the person? And most companies say, or you can do it differently. So for example, when I was applying for this Atlassian job, I did this trick. So I had a conversation with a recruiter. And she said, okay, yeah, you passed to the next. I don't want to die here in Lithuania, so I want to die on some beach and island somewhere. so basically, it's like she said, okay, you are like a great job, Eddie. You are sound, you are real. So let's continue with the next technical interview. I said, stop. I said, stop. I want to talk to the most senior person in the Gyrus project. And she was like, why? I said, yeah, because I really want to deal with that kind of people. She was, yeah, makes sense. So I went to LinkedIn, who is a senior person in Gyrus project. Okay, Greg, Andrew, okay. I did some homework, really prepared what is their background, what is their opinion, even on politics, to avoid such nasty topics, because usually people are opinionated, so you start melting the ice, and they don't like what you're saying, right? So you have to really see what people care about, what is the background. Okay, like Greg, he's coming from San Francisco, fine, so he went through the immigration, so we can really build a common conversation on that, because I'm from Latvia, probably I will move to Sydney, right? So we can talk about this. Okay, Greg has a background in the payment processing, so at that company I've been doing payments a lot. Okay, he's doing microservices, I do too, so we can talk about it. Make sense? Do your homework. That's one of the tricks, and there are many of them. If you want to learn more, just give me a signal.
Have you received the job?
Sorry?
Have you received the
Actually,
job?
yeah, I got the job. I got the job offer, yeah.
Next question. Someone? I feel that this...
Go ahead, yeah. That's a very good point. That's a very good point, and you have to have. I'm having this standard answer. It's like, I changed my mind, so I really don't want to go somewhere, and this is very okay. It's like people really understand, because life changes, right? This situation around you changes, and it's fine to change your mind at some point. So you were wanting something, and now the situation has changed. Maybe, I don't know, you have whatever issues, you can say, sorry, I have changed my mind. I'm not going to go to Australia, for example, and that's it. You don't even have to explain. But the point is that you have to always remember that if you really suck at your work and you kind of you wasted your interviewer's time, that's not what you want to do. So ideally, you're at the point when you can really give some insights to the interviewer as well, so they don't just waste their time, right? You're kind of, I was lying and you wasted someone else's time. So ideally, interview is like a win-win. They're challenging you and you're challenging them, you're challenging the interviewing process, you're challenging developers, and you learn from each other, and then everyone is happy, right? You just don't get the job, right? That's it.
One more question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Because we're recording.
What's the optimal time to spend in one job?
That's a good question. So there is a trend. First of all, there are some numbers. As far as I remember, the official numbers, like at the industry average, is like 2 years, something like this. In Silicon Valley, for example, people run from one company to the other many times a year, and this is like a part of the culture, right? The Silicon Valley baby, right? So I would say I have no idea, because some companies, they really give you the challenge, right? So like you feel like so it's like the point is like this. So you go to work, you're version 1. You leave the work, you're version 2. Right? So the idea is, if it's still happening at your work, you're the next version of yourself after the work. Amazing. You have to stay. If you're enjoying the place, right? So you have to stay. But if you find yourself version 1 or version 2 every time you quit the work, you have to reconsider. I strongly believe that this is the major reason why we have to change the job, right? Unless you are not paid well or something, right? But normally, again, so you have to change when you feel like stagnating. And for another trick for you, just simple trick. So for example, I have a friend. So, and he was like, he got a fantastic job offer. And he really wanted to get this. But the problem is that at his current job, he was like 4 months something. So he spent only 4 months at his job. And I was asking, hey, do you really want to accept this new challenge because you really want this? And he went, no, I'm not going to accept this. I say, why? And he went, well, because in my CV, it will look like crappy because I took a job for 4 months and then when I leave, it will be like a shitty CV. And you know what? Screw CV. Write whatever you want there. Write whatever, squeeze, add few months there, right? So no one ever checked this in the month, I mean. You can't write that you are CTO of Google, obviously, right? But you can really play with things, rewarder, just be ready to explain if someone will catch you, right? But in most cases, no one will catch you. And that's the point. CV is your tool to get closer to the job. And that's it. Screw it. Like, write whatever you think is right.